Welcome to the AFC Gives information evening. I'm Julie O'Dwyer. I'm the Vice President of the Board for the Ashland Food Co-op and the Chair of the AFC Gives Committee. AFC Gives is the philanthropic arm of the Ashland Food Co-op. We have been providing support to our community for decades now, but over the last couple of years, we've really tried to ramp up our ability to support our community. And tonight we'd like to give you some information about the two programs that we are working on right now. But before I do that, I want to do a special thank you to the board of the Ashland Food Co-op, especially also the operations of the Ashland Food Co-op, specifically our front end managers, our cashiers, and all the folks who handle our owners, because they really are the face of the co-op and part of the organization that really starts to make all of this live and breathe. I'd also like to thank the AFC Gives Committee, which includes myself, Julie O'Dwyer, Melina Barker, who's also on the board of directors, Abby Lazaro, who's our board administrator, Mel Getty, who is our chief financial officer, Jennifer Nelson, who is our social media and part of our marketing team, Aria Bettinger, who is an Ashland Food Co-op owner member and representative on this committee, and Bob Kaplan, who's also an AFC owner member and part of our committee. So thank you so much for all that they do. Trust me, they do a lot behind the scenes. So AFC Gives, as I mentioned, is the philanthropic arm of the Ashland Food Co-op. And at the Ashland Food Co-op, nothing means more to us than contributing to the health and strength of our community. And this is how we do that. We build upon our mission. We've developed two funding programs to support the good work that's happening in our community. And we'd like to go over those this evening. The first one is the Change for Good and community grants. Applications for Change for Good are available starting in late February through early March, and September and October is when our community grants program goes into action. Change for Good is sort of our newest program. It's also referred to as a roundup, and we really see this as not only an opportunity to fund programs, but really to partner and be a partner in action. This is a recent partner that we've had, the Rogue Valley Mentoring. And so this is an opportunity for our community members and our owners and shoppers, as well as those who work at the Ashland Food Co-op, to learn more about the organizations that we have partnered with. Part of what's been really wonderful about the Change for Good program is not only the partners that we have in our community, but the ability for us to really respond to immediate needs as they appear in our community. So in September, as all of you know, the Alameda fire devastated our community, and we were able to sort of shift the Change for Good program rather quickly and create the relief for the Rogue Valley, which raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for organizations throughout the valley that are doing sort of on the ground support to those that were affected by the fire. 2020 was the first year for our Change for Good partnership, and this is a register roundup program to benefit a monthly slate of organizations. These organizations are voted on by co-op owners, and through cumulative donations from the shoppers by choosing to round up their shopping total to the nearest dollar. That means that from 1 to 99 cents, it can all add up and can be a great way to support your community. Some of our recent Change for Good recipients are featured here. Everything from KS Wild, the Alameda Glendower Fire Fund, Rogue Farm Corps, and Maslow Project. And here you can really see a sense of what kind of effect this can have on fundraising. We really do try and partner with our organizations because it's just as important that they get out the word about this program as it is for us. So we really encourage people to engage as much as possible in the program. Each year, as we're evaluating new Change for Good partners, the board puts together a series of priorities. For 2021, we're looking for nonprofit organizations to partner with and its owners by supporting 5 principles: equity, diversity, and inclusion, which is a support for organizations that specifically focus on increasing diversity, supporting equity and inclusion, and educating the public on anti-racism. Basic needs is the support for housing and homelessness, providing for food, shelter, and clothing, and addressing the needs of children in and on the edge of poverty. Climate is always still very important to us here at the Ashland Food Co-op by supporting for developing climate resiliency and sustainability. And of course, healthy food is always a huge focus and priority, but we encourage you to increase the awareness and the viability of local food producers and the support for sustainable agriculture. This year, we've also included a priority of an emphasis on culture by highlighting the arts and cultural programs that bring an awareness to the co-op principles of community, equity, and sustainability. Your applications will require an explanation of how the work of your organization addresses one or more of these priorities. Please remember that you do not need to address all 5, but we would really like to see as many priorities as possible addressed in your application. Again, if those of you who have joined us, if you could please mute and then also put in the name of your organization, your name and your email address in the chat so we can follow up with you after this webinar is over if there's any additional questions. I'd like to go through the Change for Good application. It is available on our website currently, and I'm just going to run through some of the questions that are on that application and make sure that everyone understands it, and then we'll go through the timeline as well. So first we need to get the basics from you. So what's the name of your organization? If you are a 501c3, which is required, so we will need you to provide your EIN number from the IRS. We also really would like to have a sponsor of an AFC owner member, which means a co-op member. And that could be someone that is on your board, someone that is part of your staff, or is a key donor. And we'll be asking for their co-op number on the application. We'd like the name and title of who the partnership contact is. So in other words, if we have questions in the application, who should we contact to address those specific questions? We'd like that person's contact address, phone number, and email. We'd also like the physical address for your organization's operations. Much of this is done online, but eventually there will be a check that needs to be sent, so we need to know where that goes to. We'd also like to your organization's website address. We will be looking through the websites for all of the applicants just to get a better understanding of what you do and the programs that you provide. The AFC Gives Committee will use this information in their decision-making process. So please clearly and succinctly present the case to select your organization as a Change for Good partner. The committee will review all of the applications and then select the top recipients to then be voted on by the owners. So it's very important that the information that you provide on the application can be used not only by the committee to understand who you are, but also so the owners can understand who you are and so that they can be excited to vote for you. So we're looking for your organization's vision and mission, its history and its background. What do you want the owners to know about your organization in order to become a Change for Good partner? We'd like to know if you've received either a community grant from us or if you've been a Change for Good partner in the past. If so, when was that? What was the award? How was it used? And any other information. We'd also like you to provide your most recent IRS Form 990. And if there is a month during which it's particularly difficult for your organization to be featured, in other words, if there's a specific month that you already have an event that's planned that takes up your entire organization's focus, we would not want to have you be a partner that month so that you would be overwhelmed by kind of the work that it takes. So please let us know if there is a month. Just to be clear as to how we designate what those months are, I will go over that in the question and answers later on in this presentation. So what's the timeline? Well, our application is live now on the co-op website. You can go to our website, look up under what do we do. There is a tab for the AFC Gives. If you hit that, there's on that next page, there is a link to that application. That is the page where we will be constantly updating it on applications and additional information. So that application is live. And tonight we've got our Change for Good information meeting. So we're hoping we can answer your questions. The applications will be due March 17th at 9 p.m. It is really important that you try and get this application in as soon as you possibly can. We want to make sure that if there's any technical glitches, we have the opportunity to help you through that. Also, if there's any specific questions in the application, we have plenty of time to do that. As you can see, we suggested 9 p.m. We don't want to be staying up until 9 p.m. answering your questions, but we understand that some people really can't do this until after hours. So we wanted to make sure you had time to put all the information in. April 23rd is when the partner nominations will be approved by the committee. April 26th, those nominations will be presented to the owners via their online ballot, and then they'll be able to vote on the top Change for Good partners. And June 11th will be the announcement of who next year's AFC Gives Change for Partners will be, who they will be. So what you will need to do if you become a Change for Good partner is our marketing team really wants to make sure that we can get out the word as best as possible about all of the good that you do, all the programs you work on, and the needs that you address. So what we need from you as a partner is your organizational logo. We need a concise sentence for our cashiers to briefly say what your organization does. This helps our front end cashiers and floor managers really express to our shoppers in a very concise way who you are and why it's important to donate and round up. We need 3 to 5 high-res photographs for our social media and for our website marketing. We'd like your mission and statement, a description of some of the projects that these funds might be going towards. It is not necessary to assume that specific projects will be funded by these funds. These funds are undesignated. You can use them for whichever projects or whatever needs you have, but we would like to highlight some projects so that owners and shoppers can get to know a little bit more about what you do. When COVID is over and when we actually can all start to gather again, we will request volunteers from your organization to man a table at the front of the store so that we can provide shoppers with real face-to-face information so that they can also engage in your organization and hopefully do more for you than just raising the funds. What you can do to help raise funds is to email your friends and supporters. Let them know that that is the month that you're rounding up at the Ashland Food Co-op. We will be doing posting on social media and on our website, so please repost those tags. Please share it on social media. The more you share this information, the broader it goes and the more successful you can be. So this is our second year in Change for Good, so we have come up with some questions in the past, and I thought I'd answer those first, and then we can also take a look at seeing if there's any additional questions at the end of the presentation. So if selected, what month will my organization be partnered? So the months are designated by, we pair up the organization that gets the most votes from the owners with the month that has the average highest sales in the previous year. This means that those who get the most votes have the opportunity to most likely raise the most money. So it's then proportionally stepped down from there. That being said, if for some reason there is a month that you absolutely cannot be assigned to that, we can definitely shift people around, and the differences are not that significant, but we did want to make sure that you understood how you'd be assigned. How do I apply if I don't have access to the web forms? Most of the information can also be downloaded and printed out. If you have a problem uploading it onto the web, please contact our marketing department because they can walk you through it. They can accept those on hard copy, and then we can get that information online ourselves. Can you apply if you're not a 501c3? You need to be a 501c3 or have a 501c3 as your fiscal sponsor. And so their information is the information that you'll need to put in when we ask for an EIN number. If you are not selected to be a Change for Good partner, can you still apply for a community grant? Absolutely. That's one of the reasons that we've made the community grants later on in the year. You'll definitely know whether or not you've become a partner, and then you can decide if you'd like to apply for a community grant in the fall. Are there requirements of how the Change for Good funds are used? as long as you are using them for your organization and for the mission that you have given us, it is up to you how you use those funds. So often our community organizations are really strapped for capacity funds. So this is a great opportunity for you to raise some money that could be utilized for things that you don't have other ways to get money. How much is this program typically raised for organizations? So as you saw in one of the earlier slides, organizations typically are raising somewhere between $5,000 to $7,000 a month. And again, it really depends on how much you can help us get the word out to your supporters to come into the co-op and shop. How soon after the end of the month will you get funds dispersed? Typically, it's about 3 weeks after the end of the month. We need to have a reconciliation of all of our sales. Then we need to make sure there's a confirmation of that and it having approved by the committee, and then we'll have a check sent out to you. If for some reason you have some concerns about getting it sooner than those 3 weeks, please contact us and we can see if we can move that forward. I just want to again highlight some of the really great partners that we've had so far. It's been a wonderful experience to be able to get to know these organizations and share them with our community and to raise some very, very important funds for a lot of the work that they're doing. Maslow Project is featured here in this slide, and we're super excited about what they do for our youth and our community. And so again, please, we hope you can support those partners as well.